So I was listening to Cliff High's little Wujo update thing, and it was from a few days ago, actually. I listened to it last night, and the first half, I could tell you you probably could skip through. But then the second half, I think around 26 minutes or so into it, he starts talking about some interesting things. I think, but that first half, I think he's talking about like the global cooling that's happening, the coming, mini ice age, what have you, that we're due for, that kind of thing, showing up in the data, which that's not anything new. It's been in the data for a while. But 26 minutes or so into it, he starts shifting into Bitcoin, precious metals, the Ukraine situation, things like that. And he's talking about things kicking in like in April, like next month, which it would include some type of hyperinflation starting to show its face, things like that. But right off the bat, of course, I've got to tell you, anyone new to this that hasn't heard me talk about the WebBot thing before, that its forecasts are pretty amazing. It seems to have a pretty good accuracy rating of getting things right, and sometimes right on the money as far as time. When it says to look for this event, it tells you what the event is. It was right, and then it was right on time. Many times it tells you about the event, but it's not right on time. It happens later. It's just the nature of the beast. It is what it is. They can't make that happen any better. The accuracy rating to being on time. Sorry about our luck, basically. That's the bottom line. So I recognize this and I accept this. I understand this. It's still useful for me because it has made many predictions right. And the interesting thing about some of those is the bigger stuff we've all been waiting for a long time hasn't happened yet. But it keeps showing up in the data, and when stuff keeps showing up in the data, it pretty much is a guarantee it's coming, don't worry. So when he talks about, one of the first things he talked about last night when I heard this, is that he may have grossly underestimated the precious metals prices regarding silver. And the data is showing that, and he's not sure which currency, because he said this could quite possibly be in the same country as in the United States, but just so far different region-wise, it's going to be hard for people in one region to get over or somehow sell their silver to that one particular region in which it's got the highest price ever, such as $1,200 per ounce silver. Now, he says it could be a third of that elsewhere. So even a third of $1,200 is what, $400 bucks. $400 an ounce silver is by no means a terrible thing. Just calculate if you have 200-300 ounces of silver. Let's say 300 ounces times 4, right? 3 times, let's see, 300 ounces times 4, 12. That would be, well, out of 0 would be, yeah, you're talking what, $120,000? For 300 ounces of silver, you just pocketed $120,000 because it went to $400 an ounce. That's pretty crazy. Now, if you happen to be in a region where it's and he said it wouldn't just be those two different prices. He did not say it's going to be $1,200 somewhere and then only $400 in one other place and that's it. He mentioned that it looked like there would be the peak price would be about $1,200 somewhere, and it would range in between that and the $400 price range, but that the lowest price in whatever area would be about $400 an ounce. And he said, which was interesting, I don't recall if he said this specific to gold or silver, one or the other, but the bottom line is that this same type of thing happens to both. But the number I'm about to give you does not, I want to say he was talking about gold at the time, and then just gets into silver as well, but again, they both follow the same pattern, so this doesn't really matter which one I'm talking about. But he said it would be, you'd see something like, whatever it is, gold or silver, is up $104 today. One day's trading, it's up $100 in one day. So then naturally, after following these things for years, the prices, and when you know they're gonna slam it, can't let it go that high, you know, like that, and then not slam it. So the powers that be were waiting for them to slam it the next day, and a strange thing happens, and that is nothing happens. There's no slam, doesn't happen. People recognize that, holy crap, there's no slam, they get back into it, price goes up another $100-something instantly. Wait for the slam, no slam again. No slam again. Oh my God. Next day, it goes even crazier. But he did say, when this starts happening, you will see very, very wild swings in the price of precious metals. So while it might be up $200, $300, $400, and again, I'm assuming he's talking about gold with those kind of numbers in a few days' time, you're going to see just as wild of a swing the other way. So don't you dare, he didn't say this, but I'm saying this, don't you dare go and buy a paper contract on the futures market, COMEX market. Because if you get caught when one of these wild swings happens and it's on the downside, you could be cleaned out in a heartbeat. Now think about this. When I've told you this story before, in 2008, which is the triggering event that made me start researching and figuring out what's going on with the precious metals market, realizing it's rigged, and then realizing all other markets are rigged, etc. I had what they call a mini futures contract on silver, which is worth, what you're playing with is 1,000 ounces worth of silver on paper, but you can play with it for 100 ounces worth of money. They leverage it 10 times, which also means if it moved up to $1, I just made $1,000. If it went down in price $1 and I still had my contract open and I didn't close it out at the end of the day or whatever, I just lost $1,000. And I had about $30,000 something into it. I was actually making money. I was doing wheat and then corn, I think, for a little bit of time. Stuck with the wheat. And I've mentioned this before, I found a story that people in Egypt were like killing each other in line because the bread was costing so much money. They're fighting for the last loaves of bread. I just felt like I didn't have that in me to make profit while people are starving literally to death, fighting each other for the last loaf of bread. So I basically took my contract out and said, well, this works, I can do this, where else can I put it in? Oh, I'm gonna try silver. I've always liked silver. And that's when I learned my lesson, because it was almost $21, and they knocked it down to 17, like that. So remember what I said, every dollar moves $1,000? 21 almost, well, it was about 20. 19, 18, 17, $3,000 gone. And margin call, you still owe us about a few hundred more dollars because it went way down. And I'm like, I had my stops in place at like 30 cents under what the price was. Why wasn't my contract sold so that I didn't lose any money? This should have been automated. Yes, sir, we did see you did have stops in there. However, if there are no buyers, it continues to go down until there's a buyer. Once there's a buyer, it automatically triggers. What the price is at that point, we can't control. So your stop was triggered, but it was only triggered when buyers came back on scene, which was around $17. Oh. So the point of the story, I had a mini futures contract, which was 1,000 ounces worth of playing. A real full-size futures contract is 5,000 ounces. So 5 times that amount of money. Could you imagine seeing a dollar move and you had, $30,000 in a full-size 5,000 ounce contract, knowing that if this thing goes up $1 per ounce, I just made $5,000. My $30,000 turns into $35,000. Man, that sounds lucrative. But guess what happens on the other way? If it goes down $1 and you have your stops in place and they don't get triggered on time because there's not enough buyers, you just lost $5,000, maybe more. What if it goes down $3,000 like it happened to me? Well, that'd be $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 gone. Can you imagine that? So imagine the prices I'm telling you from Webbot land, if you will, that are saying we're going to see wild, absolutely wild daily swings in the price of precious metals. And if you're in at the bottom and you happen to take out a contract, paper contract, and ride it up during that day, you will make money hand over fist. Incredible. But the just as much risk is on the downside. After the wild swing up, it's coming back down wildly as well. But not in the same fashion that we are used to seeing by the powers that be, where they slam it, it's obvious, we know what they did. It's like a true market kicking in. And remember the prior report I was reading, or was it the prior one before that? I don't remember. Where it talked about precious metals and how we all know it's rigged, and whatever mechanism is rigging it, from the data it appeared that it just stops. So people who may be involved in the rigging of the precious metals say, I don't want to do this anymore. It's not right. We've done it for so long. This is just wrong. I'm not doing it anymore. Which would then lead to wild price fluctuations, because now the real market's coming in and trying to set the price of the thing where it belongs, which is why you have major ups, major downs, major ups, major downs, until it finally settles around somewhere. Now, because I've been reading these web reports for so long, I always told myself, based on the amount of silver I have, what that magic number would be for me to sell under the following circumstances. Number A, first case scenario A, is everything seems relatively normal in the world, even though I know what's going on, you know what's going on, we see it behind the scenes. But I can still go out and drive and grocery store, everything's fine in that respect. And that price for me, I thought to myself, I know Webbot said $600 an ounce, and it probably could even go higher than that, but my original thought was, I think I'll be out. I think I'll sell everything I got, silver-wise, at $400 an ounce. My next bottom line was, I can definitely see things happening. I don't know if I want to stay in this area. I may want to move because of what I'm seeing. That number was about $300 an ounce. And then my last one was, holy crap, crap has hit the fan. Basically, martial law type of situation is either about to be declared, has been declared. This is not good. I don't feel comfortable here. We've got to get out of here now. Pastor Dowell, we're heading up that way. That's the call I don't want to make, because that means things are bad. That's why. It means things are really bad. And by that time, what my price would be is, I hope I could get $100 an ounce out of silver during that situation, because that's the least that I really would want to take based off of the amount of money I calculated times X amount of silver ounces I have, that I would feel comfortable selling to make this happen because of the dire situation. I truly believe that that worst case scenario in my mind is not going to happen and have silver at $100. I think we will be way past higher than $100 silver before anything like that even comes. So while I said earlier, he talked about April, a lot of the stuff showing its face. Same with Bitcoin. He talks about MT Gox, or Mount Gox as they called it. He said a lot of the problems and pricing swings was due to MT Gox alone. It was the biggest exchange, etc. It went down in a blaze. Not really of glory, but we're going to call it a blaze of glory. Now that it's gone, we have other exchanges that have been very stable. So now we may see the prices go right back up to where they belong, and then higher, 2,000, 3,000. He did reiterate last night in that thing I listened to, his Wujo, $3,000 Bitcoin once again. He mentioned it again. And then he got into precious metals as well. Talked about that. So this is a little mini update for you to let you know what he said. It's still in the radar, so to speak. It's still on the radar. Am I going to be holding my breath come next month, April, and then all of a sudden May? Hey, I don't really see anything. I don't really see hyperinflation. I don't see precious metals going ape right now. So, no. I know better. Been following the Webbot for years and understand that it can sometimes miss that date time frame. But you can pretty much be rest assured the general gist of the data you read, even though sometimes it's misinterpreted to mean something else. When you've been reading these things for years and years and years, and you get the same type of data and you get the same understanding, that's not a misinterpretation. So, it's coming. Keep stacking your silver. Keep buying it. Again, right now, fantastic prices. I just checked the bank account. My check for JM Bullion did go through. So now I'm waiting for them to ship it. Maybe another day or two this week. In other words, Tuesday, Wednesday, the latest. I'm sure it will clear by then, and I'll be getting my silver in the mail. Because that's always that time where you're just a teeny bit nervous. You know what I mean? Yeah, you paid for it. You know it's coming. It's legit. But it's not in my hands yet. Never had a problem, by the way, with any of this. I did one time, I think at APMEX, ordered some silver. This is back when it was in the $40+ range. I think it was like 50 ounces, and never showed up in the mail. So I contacted them. Yeah, it looks like it's lost in the mail. According to the mail, they're telling us it's the USPS, it's lost in the mail. I said, well, okay, but you guys do have insurance. You ship with insurance, correct? Yes, we do. So that entire amount is covered. You're going to be getting a check from the Postal Service, correct? Yes, we are. Okay, since I've purchased from you many times, and I did not get the item I paid for, and it's been way past due right now, the price of precious metals have dropped into the $30+ range. And since you're getting a check from the Postal Service for that 50 ounces I bought at $44 or $42, I think it was 42, I would like to take that same amount of money that I've given you that you're getting back and put it into silver at today's price, because of what has happened. And they squawked a little bit at first and then said, no, we'll do that. We'll do that. So they did do it, but I had to kind of fight for it. Long story short, I'm using JM Bullion now. I've never had any issues with them. I know there was delays a long time back when the whole world was seeing delays. That's typical. So another thing I want to touch on real quick is that in the past, when I used to always promote people buying precious metals, and I would tell them buy it anywhere you can. APMEX, Gainesville Coins, wherever I knew at the time. I would always have people periodically, man, Jay Snip, you need to go to Tulving, man. Stop advising people to go to APMEX. Stop advising them to go to Gainesville Coins. Go to Tulving, T-U-L-V-I-N. Or was it I-N-G? I think it was I-N, Tulving. They got better prices, and I looked, I'm like, yeah, but I've never heard of this place. I don't know. I never once trusted it, and never advised people go use them. I stuck to my guns. And by the way, just right over the weekend, Tulvin, after 6-month delays in many cases of delivering their precious metals to people who paid, has just filed bankruptcy. Because they filed bankruptcy, How much do you want to bet? There are orders and orders and orders of precious metals that just got flushed down the toilet with their money. So as Tolving files for bankruptcy protection, it'll be interesting for them to show in court, how did you not have the people's money that have been waiting 6 months? Where did that money go? And they're going to show you these huge salaries, probably, right? Like any company would do. Oh, well, the president was making, $150,000 a year. The vice president, you have all these positions. You're just a little metals trading company, or not trading, but a metals company, right? But they can at least show on paper, well, this is where everybody's money went. We had these salaries and expenses and, sorry. And more than likely, okay, judge will sign off. All right, makes sense. All you people who bought from them, waited for your order for 6 months, here's what's left of their bankruptcy, scraps worth of money left. You guys can fight over it. Here's, 10% of what you ordered back in money. You're screwed. Can this type of thing happen anywhere else? The answer is yes. The answer is yes, it can. Anywhere else. Which is why it's critical to get your silver when things are relatively stable. And that is right now. They're still relatively stable. When things get a little crazy, prices go ape, you're going to see the thieves and the vultures come out and take advantage of people just simply to take the money and run. Look at how many times something with Bitcoin, some company has taken the money and we all know ran and blamed it all hackers and BS. These people have taken the money and ran with it because it went from pennies to dollars to $1,000+ These people recognize, this is my exchange, I'm getting a little piece, I've got so many Bitcoins accumulated, and the amount of Bitcoins I have from other users are immense, hundreds of thousands, times $1,000 a piece. Oh my God. I've got a massive amount of money sitting here. And they said, all I gotta do is blame it on a hacker. It's not even real money, it's a digital thing. What are they gonna do to me? What could they possibly do to me? How are they gonna prove in court anything? Right? So then this criminal mentality kicks in, no morals. Hey, the politicians do it, I gotta get mine, that's all that matters, I'm out. And then they do it. Gotta run. Take care.